everything's set.
All right.
Everything except -5.
So I kind of purposefully left 1A and 1B out of my discussion. What does the letter D and the letter R reference?
Domain range.
Domain and range. No. It's just, we're going to get through 7-2, believe it or not.
7-2?
Yep. That's why the quiz is going to go through 7-2. Yeah. All right. So number one, so domain and range. Domain is the x's that I'm allowed to use or to have outputs, and range is all the possible outputs. But you don't have to know that really for 1A. Do all the inputs go to just one output for 1A? Does 5 go to more than one output? So what do you get for 1A? Is it a function?
Yes.
Yes, because no input goes to more than one output. What about 1B? No, because 5 goes to 2 outputs. So that's like saying at 5 seconds, where was Frank? Well, he was there and there. So, who's Frank? I mean, teach me, Frank. 1C is a format we looked at. What are you looking for in the one for 1C? You're looking to see what if there's a repeated x value, and is there for 1C?
Yes.
There is. So the answer is not a function. That was a trick, Jeff. Yeah. It's not a function. What about D?
Yes.
Yes, a function. There's no x value repeated. There's no x that goes to more than one y. E.
No.
Not a function. It does not pass the vertical line test. It's a circle. They're beautiful, but they're not functions. F? Yes. There's no vertical line that goes through more than once. So that is a function. That is specifically some kind of a cubic function. See you later. Number 2 is substitution stuff. This is the basic idea of function notation. So when I say what's f of -1, f of x is 2x minus 1. So f of -1, I just replace the x with -1 and then work it out. So part B, the same thing. H of x is x squared minus 1. So h of 3 is 3 squared minus 1. It's crazy. Is that cool? Yeah. Minus 1? Yeah. So for some reason I've noticed, some of you guys forgot, make sure you get the whole function. You know, there is a minus 1 in h, right? I think your brain sees the x squared and goes, all right, but there's a minus 1 there too. C, G of x is x minus 1 over x plus 5. G of 1 then would be 1 minus 1 over 1 plus 5, which is 0. Please don't stop at 0 over 6, because you should have the answer, not a problem that I have to work out. I've already worked this shit out. You've got to work it out yourself. Make sure you make it 0, or else I'm concerned. What is this?
Undefined.
Undefined. Do you guys, real quick, do you guys know why that's undefined? You ready? What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
Why? Because 2 times 3 is 6. There's a number defined such that when I multiply by 2, I get 6. So what would have to be the answer to this? It'd have to be the number that's defined such that when I multiply by 0, I get 6. Is there any number defined to do that? No, so it's undefined. But, so don't just take words at face and go, oh, you idiots call it undefined. Say, why do you call it undefined? If the teacher can't answer that, they're not doing their damn job. Okay. So what about part D? Gets a little freaky, but not really. If h of x is x squared minus 1, and h of m is m squared minus 1. Done. Almost too nice to believe.
Oh, I thought it was m plus.
It's not a number, so I can't actually do it. And on one level, it's kind of just showing you that x is not special. I could have used an m. What's h of a? What's h of a? A squared minus 1. What's h of d? D squared minus 1. What's h of Jeff? Jeff squared minus 1. Yes?
So you'd have to factor it.
No. No need to factor it. Yeah, you can't simplify it. Now here's the freaky one, E, but again, domain means all the x's I'm allowed to use. What's the only x I'm not allowed to use for G? Because it makes the bottom 0. I can't use negative 5. X can't be negative 5. The best way to write that is that. Oh, shit. Negative infinity up to negative 5, or negative 5 up to infinity. I always look at this as saying, skip that. It's too bad. We're going to use interval notation. Especially now, as you said that. No, I would do it anyway. Don't beat him up. He's okay. You guys should have done some interval notation before this class.
I don't remember that.
So, all right. Let's do this. For number 3, you've got to use interval notation for the answer. For part B. 3A freaks you out a little bit when you first see it, because you're like, you didn't give me any function, Jeff, but I gave you something better. If I did give you a function, like if I said f of x was x squared plus 2, couldn't you start making an xy table to graph it, right? What if you put a 2 in there? What do you get?
6.
What does that mean? What would you put on your graph? At 2, you would go up to 6 and put a point.
Yeah.
So whatever the point is the answer of the shit, right? The graph is a visual representation of the answers. So I've given you all the answers. So what's f of negative 1? Well, where they put a point for an input in negative 1, they put the point at negative 3. So f of negative 1 is negative 3 because that's where they put the point. So what's f of 0? For example, negative 2, because that's where they put the point. For an input of 0, negative 2, why? Because that's what the answer was. I like it. So part B, domain is all the x's I'm allowed to use. What's the smallest x I'm allowed to use? Negative 3. Do I include negative 3? What kind of circle is that? So I include it, right? What's the first letter in include? So therefore, I've already included it. I use a bracket. If I didn't want to include it, you used to use an open circle. And what's part of an open circle look like? Parentheses. So I use a parenthesis if I don't want to include it, which is why I put a parenthesis there. Why do I always put infinity with a parenthesis? Because if I put it with a bracket, that means somehow I got there and I picked it up. Infinity. Oh, shit. That became pure energy. So, I don't know. Negative 3 up to? 2. That's all the x's that work. That's domain. What about range? That's all the y's that are outputs. Negative 3 is the lowest output. 6 is the highest output. Inclusive. I love it. Kick ass,
How do you
yes.
find the inclusive and how do you know it's inclusive?
Oh, because the circles are all closed.
They're all closed? Okay.
If that bottom circle, that lowest point, if that was open, the range would have had a parentheses on it. Yeah. And this would have been very different too, to tell you, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so last thing for today, very quickly. The reason I feel comfortable with jamming this in here at the end is because if you know how to factor, the first 2 sections of chapter 7 are stupid easy. If you know how to factor. If you don't, they're going to be incredibly hard. One thing you see in chapter 7, let me just start off with this part here. Let me try this. What values of x make f of x undefined? Yeah, 1. So the answer would be 1. If they said, what's the domain of this? You'd say everything except 1. Because that's the one thing that makes it undefined. So the domain would be everything else. What about for this function? Oh, what you got, Jeff? Yeah, all right. So you want to figure out when the bottom is 0. That sounds very familiar. I want to make the bottom 0. How do I figure that out? Factor it. See, this was easy because it just had one piece. This has 2 pieces. If I just knew what they were, I could figure out what makes each of them 0. So what are the 2 pieces here?
A and
So then you get x is 8, negative 1. Like, you're just ahead of us. Cool. I guess that part's not. See, this is what I meant by if you can't factor, you're going to have a hard time here because almost every problem is going to involve factoring. Now, here's the next level. Here's the actual teeth of this. Remind me, what do you do if you see this on a problem and it says simplify this? What would you do?
Reduce it.
Yeah, how did you reduce it? How did you reduce it? What am I drinking?
Greatest common factor.
I love it. Find the greatest common factor. Kick ass. The top is 8 times 5. The bottom is
8 times 6.
real quick. Watch this. Watch this. Some of you guys might get this. How far apart are those two numbers?
16.
So the only things that can go into both are things that can go into 16. That's all I'll say about that. I love it. It's like, if you don't get that, it's okay. You can survive without it. But if you sort of get that, it kicks so much ass. And what happens here? The 8s cancel. So how would I do this then?
Factor it out.
Factor both.
Cancel.
Now, please, dear God, why in the world can't I just kill those? Look, isn't it x squared in the top and bottom, Jeff? Just freaking cancel that shit out. Why do you have to make it so hard, Jeff?
They're not reduced.
Doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Can you reduce 5 over 8? Is that reducible?
No.
Isn't 8 5 plus 3? And then your appropriate answer would be, so what? The shit does that do for you? Not a damn thing. Because what do you need? You need factors. Are there factors yet? No, there's minuses and pluses. That's not factors. Factors involve multiplication. Then I can kill it. What does division do? What is its job to kill multiplication? Right? That's one of its jobs. You guys understand? So it cannot kill parts of subtraction and addition. It can't do that. That's outside of its job. So how do you factor the top?
X plus 3 minus 3.
And the bottom?
X minus 5, X minus 30.
What cancels?
The
Minus
X minus 3.
Cool. So this is what I mean. If you cannot factor, chapter 7 will be impossible for you. Especially 7.2, you know what I mean, right? But 7.1 is going to have some of these. Yeah? 7.1 is like reducing stuff too, so it's going to have this stuff here. 7.2 involves, this is the last thing we're doing, by the way, just 7.2 involves this kind of problem. Remind me, how do you do this? Let's recall. How would you do this? 16 over 49 times 28 over
Cross cancel.
40, sure. It's cancel, wherever you can see something. And whatever's on the top can cancel with parts on the bottom, right? So what do you see right off the bat?
1640.
All right, so what goes into both of those?
4.
8,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
2, 5. Anything else you see?
7.
Good. This is 7 times 4. So if 7 goes in that 4 times, 7 goes in that.
7.
Anything else?
Uh,
Hell no.
You get multiply now.
So now you get
8 over 35.
8 over
35.
35. So how would you do this?
Factor and then cross cancel.
Do you see how this is, math people, we really love this. We're like, this is 4 problems in one. Ha ha ha. Right? There's a factoring problem. There's a factoring problem. There's a factoring problem. There's a factoring problem. So you factor them all, and then you kill whatever's the same on the top and bottom. Right? How do you factor this?
X minus 1, X plus
X minus 1, X plus 1. This.
Big dude, little dudes.
Little dude, X minus 2, big dude, X squared plus 2, X plus 4. This.
plus 2 minus 2.
This, oh shit.
Take X.
Take an X out. Now you just go to town. X plus 1, die. X, oh shit, X minus 2, die. Anything else? Never can you factor the big dude.
Okay.
So don't waste your time. So anything else dies? What about the X's?
No.
Hell no, good. Because it's involved in an addition problem. Right, so what do I got left? X minus 1, X plus 2, over x times x squared plus 2x plus 4. Bang. Collect all your survivors. Don't leave any survivors behind. That's evil. These will come back to life and eat them.
Okay.
So that's good. Set. Thursday. So tomorrow come with questions from whatever you're able to get through. Thursday we'll have a quiz on this stuff. Yeah. So I'll post some more of the homework up onto my math lab. If you guys are using my math lab and there's a homework that's not up that you're ready to do, just email me, remind me.
How many tests are we going to have during the entire
Huh?
under that?
Oh, 3, yes. Yeah, so on the little homework thing. 3 tests, yeah. Normally I do 5, but since these classes are so long, I just do 3 big ones.